Hey guys, Jason with CV Customs. Another day on the highboy. Had to order a bunch of different parts for it for everything we're doing. The radiator and tank are still at the radiator shop. Tank's getting cleaned and lined if it needed it, and the radiator's getting rotted out and making, pressure check, make sure everything's good. Actually, it's supposed to arrive today. I talked to him and he's already done. But he's kind of in the next town over, and he was coming this way today, so he agreed to drop it off for me, which is great. Today, we're going to do the power steering upgrade. So we're eliminating the old power assist, and we're putting on a power steering system. More traditional to what cars run now, until they all started going to rack and pinion, which is another type of steering system. We're not doing that. Yeah, let me show you guys what's here on the ground, and this is what's going on, and then we'll take a look at the old system one more time before we start tearing it apart. If you guys like the highboy, make sure you hit the bell so you can follow the project. I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully we can get this thing done today. Okay, so like I said, before we start opening everything up, this is the old solenoid that actually tells the cylinder what to do, coming from the Pitman arm. It kind of is in place of the drag link. So this system will eliminate this steering box, eliminate this drag link, and it'll get new tie rods, new drag link, and a new box. And then we tie the new box into the existing power steering pump. So all of this stuff's going to come off, and that cylinder, let me see if we can get closer. That's the power assist cylinder. So we'll remove that, and then we'll have to find a steering stabilizer shock. But that'll be something we find later. They make them pretty universal. We can do that. So let's walk over here to what I got on the ground. This is the kit. So you can see new box, new Pitman arm. That's the drag link and the tie rods. This is the new linkage going from the steering column to the box. This is the bracket that attaches the box to the frame. Of course, the hardware, and the new hoses going to the pump. It's kind of the instructions they give you. I can give you guys a close-up later on in the video. I'm going to get the front end jacked up. We'll take the driver's side tire off, get a better look at what we're tearing apart. Okay, so now we're down in here. Tire's missing, you see. This is our cylinder now. Just a little side note, whenever you're taking off hydraulic lines, I like to mark them with a center punch. So I'll zoom in so you can actually see it, but I've already marked 1 and 1. Now on this one, I'll just put 2. And that way, I'll always know where the hoses go back to. And now the reason is, now for Sam doesn't really care. He's not going to reuse this, but I do so much work on these old vehicles. If I needed to reuse this on something where somebody didn't want to pay the $1,600 for this kit, we still have good parts and everything's still lined out the way it goes back on. There might be another highboy out there that didn't have the power assist, so it's running mechanical steering. They might be pretty happy to use this, so we don't want to mix things up. Now I've marked 1 and 1, 2 and 2. I'll do 3 and 3. On number 4, I don't have to mark it because it'll be the only one without a mark. So I'm going to get all those marked. We're going to start taking it off. I'm also going to get a drip pan because with hydraulics, as soon as you open it, all these hoses are full of oil. So get a drip pan under here, catch the mess, and start by removing that cylinder. Sorry, I forgot that I said I'd show you so you can see the marks. See the 1 and 1 and the 2 and 2. So we'll know everything goes back in the right spot. So I'm gonna get it off. Okay, so the cylinder is out of the way here. Those 2 lines are still there. Now the lines are there. We're going to start pulling the lines here in a second. But I want to get the Pitman arm off first. So what I do, I'll take that bolt out that goes across the top, and then I'll take a chisel and I'll hammer it down the top. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, so it slides off the shaft. So let me get that bolt out. We'll go from there. Okay, so with the bolt out, I take my chisel, wedge, whatever you want to call it, hammer it in there, and then it usually slides off pretty simple. You can see she's off. Now we'll start getting the linkage and hoses out so we can throw the new box on. Okay, so next we're going to pull the box. I don't need to take the linkage off the box, but I do need to take it off the shaft. It's right there. You see I already put my wrench on the backside. So now I'll take the impact and I'll zap that off. That'll slide right out. I thought there were 4 bolts, but I only see 3 right here. So then we'll zap those off, pull the box out of the way, and start setting our new box. Well, I'll probably get the old lines out of the way first. Okay guys, the box is off. Steering linkage is out. And I noticed something, and it seems really weird, but so the flange on the back of this thing, it's a 4-bolt flange, right? Now it's gonna go on the inside of the frame because that's what holds the box. It actually sits like this, but it goes right there, so it's lined up with all the holes. But they only give you 3 bolts. Now, when you've got it lined up and everything's right, boom, all you gotta do is drill another hole and put that bolt in. So I don't know, I mean, I know it's gonna be close to this cutout, but it's gotta be better than only putting these 3 bolts in. So if you're doing this, you don't have to listen to me, but I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna put the 4th hole and I'm gonna put a bolt in it. I'll just supply my own hardware and put it in. That seems crazy that they only give you the 3 bolts. They don't say anything in the instructions about drilling this hole. Maybe it's like liability things about telling you to drill on a frame, but I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna do it. So, see what happens. Now, the way I'm gonna do it, I'll show you. Okay, we got the bracket. So basically, just on the outside of the frame, I'm gonna set this up so that these 3 holes line up, and then I'm gonna take a punch. Let me bring this over here. So this set, the way this center punch works is you find the one that fits inside your hole. You put your bolts in, you can put it kind of snug, and then you just put the right one in. Let's say it's probably something like this. See? It starts right there so that when you hit it, you get a center right in the center. Then you unbolt it, you drill your hole to match 7/16 bolts, and then we'll bolt it together. I'm not putting it together with only 3 bolts. So, I'm going to set that up and I'll show you guys. Okay, so I got it in place. And again, remember, this actually goes on the inside. I just set it up here so I can do a nice drill and kind of show you guys what I'm going to do. Now, what I also noticed is the bolts that I took out of the old box are the same. Another 7/16. I'll put a new nut and use that bolt so that I have the 4th. If you don't have a new nut, you can still use the old nut, but it's generally just better to replace those Stover lock nuts. Now, I'll show you how this works. Again, it lines up right into that hole. Oh, see, I put it in backwards because you see the center punch tip is pointing at me. So just like that, tap it with a hammer. I can't do it while I'm holding the camera, so I'm gonna go ahead and tap it, pull it, drill it, and then put it on the inside and bolt it up. So we'll go from there, guys. Okay, so the hole is drilled, and you can see how close it is to this old cutout for the shaft for the Pitman arm. Maybe that's why they don't tell you to drill it, but I'm telling you, having that 4th hole when you bolt it up, to me, it's just way better. It also looks like this is where our VIN number is, right here underneath the box. Now, we're not going to be covering it up. We're going to put it on the inside so that VIN will still be able to see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the wire wheel and kind of clean all this up, just because I want my bolts to set super flush. I'm going to do the same thing on the inside where that bracket's going to go in. Once that's clean, we'll bolt our bracket on, and then it's as simple as putting our box on and putting everything together. Okay, guys, so what I found is you can't put this bracket on the frame first. You got to put the bracket on the box first, and then put the box and the bracket up in one piece. But the hardware they send you, there's really no way for me to get it in there. I've tried every angle I can think of, but I mean, you can see it just doesn't fit. So I'm gonna have to get a bolt that's like a 1/4 inch shorter. Now, it's not gonna matter because it's a little too long anyways. I mean, those threads aren't gonna be used anyways. So if we get a 1/4 inch shorter, and then slide it in there and lock it down, should be good. Now, also, it doesn't say anything on the instructions about thread locker or anything, but I will tell you guys right now, I'm going to put thread locker on it. Yeah, so I kind of have to stop the video here because I can't finish this today. And the next project is all the sandblasting for the 56, and I'll show you guys that right now. So that's the forklift. We're going to do the brakes on that soon. But I only get the sandblaster for the weekend. So I've got to get all this done. Now, I've never done the sandblasting with the dry sandblaster, so this is a new thing, but I've got it until Monday. So I can't mess around with bad hardware and try and get that finished when I've got to get as much work out of this as I can. Got the frame for the 56, the cab, front clips over there, and the bed. Those are all ready. What I have left to get ready is pull the tanks off and the transfer case. The rear axle is not really mounted, and the front axle will come off as well. So we'll have the frame on the tripods, but we got to get the dash out of the cab and the windshield so that it's just bare metal. And we're gonna dustless. It's like a dustless sandblasting. They just call it dustless blasting because they use it's a glass bead. So this isn't sand. It's crushed glass. So it's not really a bead either. It's just glass. So anyways, let me get the camera flipped around. Hey guys, thanks for watching what we did. Now I will tell you I'm gonna finish this, but it's gonna be Monday, so maybe Monday afternoon I'll get the video out so you actually see the end of the project. But unfortunately, for what I just talked about with the 56, I've got to work on that now, but I wanted to get the video out so you guys kind of saw what happened, saw what we were working on anyways. So yeah, really tune into that 56 because the sandblast, that thing's gonna look so different when we finish. So hey, thanks again for stopping in, and I'll see you guys on the next video.